Good. Well, my son was sick and I was sick, so I haven't gone for 2 days to see the baby, but probably tomorrow I'll go.
Oh, all right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
We are live on YouTube and we are getting started. So I'd like to invite everybody to take a moment to do whatever you need to do to move yourself into Shabbat, metaphorically or spiritually. A deep breath, stretching out some muscles, shaking out some muscles, whatever you need to do to leave behind what's making your brain spin around. In the prayer book, we are beginning on page 127 in the blue bracketed numbers. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. For the blessing over the candles, I'd like to invite Julia Burke-Freitzis to come to the bima. Is that correct, Julia? Yeah, right.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
We'll let her light the candle.
Eloheinu melech olam, asher krishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נשל שבת. Amen.
Julia, would you like to do the English?
Sure. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you very much. For the Kiddush, that's on page 123. I'd like to invite Nathan to the bima.
Nathan, take the cup.
If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahavu v'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron l'mahaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, Mikol Hamim B'Shabbat Kodshecha B'Ahava Uv'Ratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Nice low notes.
You may be
If you'd
seated.
like to join my choir, you're very welcome. Consider that. Yeah, no, you sound great. I'm sorry. Really nice sound.
If you come up and do Kiddush, and if you sing it yourself and you have a nice voice, Noni will not let you get away with not joining the choir.
He said after his dissertation, he's going to.
Woo! Well, that could be years.
That's a nice one.
Fall.
See that?
Excellent. Amazing. Page 140 is Tov Lehodot.
Tov, tov, tov lehodot, tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov, tov, tov lehodot, tov lehodot l'Adonai. ולזמר לשמך העליון, לשמך העליון. ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני. להגיד בבוקר חסדיך ואמונתך בלילות בלילות. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני.
Gesundheit. We continue with the Baruch Hu, page 146 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated. On page 148 in the blue bracketed numbers, I invite you to read with me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 150. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 152. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Kavod Malchuto, Le'olam Avad.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וגישרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 157. Page 157, I invite you to read with me. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא פעילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך רובניך בוקי היום לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם
Hashkivenu, page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu לשלום, והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים. וברוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקננו בצעה טובה מלפניך, והושיענו למען שמך. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת
The tefillah begins on page 164 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי אגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohi avotinu v'imotenu, Elohi Avraham, Elohi Yitzchak v'Elohi Yaakov, Elohi Sarai, Elohi Rivka, Elohi Rachel v'Elohi Leah, Ha'el hagdol hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ביבוא. מלך עוזר, מושיע מגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך, נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. On page 173, I invite you to read with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Ritzei, page 174.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamacha Yisrael, ותפילתם באהבה תקבל, ותהי לרצון תמיד, ותהי לרצון תמיד, עבודת ישראל עמך. אל קרוב לכל קוראיו, אל קרוב לכל קוראיו, פנה אל עבדיך וחננו. שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה הננו בשובך לציון ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון, המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
We have come to Modim, our blessing of gratitude. It's on page 177. And as we do, we take a few moments at this time to give anyone who wishes an opportunity to share something that they're feeling grateful for today. If you are on Zoom, you're welcome to put it in the chat or to share it out loud. And of course, people in the room are welcome to share out loud as well. Janice.
Yes, I think some people know already, but I'd like to say that I had my fourth grandchild was born on Monday, and she's doing great. So, yeah, I just thought I'd tell people.
Wonderful. Do we
Thank
have a
you.
name that you want to share?
Alina.
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 Girl?
It's a girl. Yep.
Wonderful. Mazal tov to the
Thank
whole family.
you.
Everybody's doing well?
Everybody's fine.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Mazal tov, Grandma.
Thanks.
Do they call you Grandma?
Yes, they call me Grandma.
I
Yep.
mean, the ones who can talk.
The ones who can talk call me Grandma. Actually, my granddaughter calls me Crema. I don't know.
Sure. Great.
Close enough. Close enough. Thank you.
Well, that is fantastic. Freema.
A mazel tov, Janice. I am grateful that things are starting to calm down a little bit, which for me is very good, and Debbie too. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm not going to talk about the snow.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so. Patricia is grateful to be inside from the cold weather and for the weekend. Karen Kramer is grateful to celebrate her daughter's birthday tomorrow. They will FaceTime even though they can't be together in person. Charlotte is grateful for her wonderful daughter, Paula. Linda Horowitz is grateful for her health, her daughter, family, and friends, and everything else. It's nice to see you, Linda Horowitz. Who else is feeling grateful today? Robert.
2 days ago, I was leaving my high school, and several blocks there was a sheet of ice, which I thought I could cross because it was near the snow, but unfortunately, I underestimated, and I slipped and fell on my back. And fortunately, the only injury I had in the emergency room was a big bump on one arm, and I credit that to having started the study of judo in college. And I am very grateful for its founder, Dr. You may not know the name of Dr. Jigoro Kano, who was a medical doctor in Japan and realized that part of medicine is corrective, not corrective, but a large part is preventive. And he developed judo from ancient jiu-jitsu so that you could fall and not make yourself invulnerable, but at least could prevent further injury. So I'm grateful for his efforts back, I think, in the early 1900s.
Sometimes I feel like people are just testing me. Okay, Robert is grateful that he, when leaving his high school a few days ago, encountered a sheet of ice and thought he could navigate it but could not, and slipped and fell on his back and went to the emergency room but only had a big bruise on his arm, which he credits to his study of judo in college. And so he is grateful to the founder of judo, Dr. Kano, who is Japanese and a long time ago. I'm going to leave it at that. Mike.
I'm grateful that on Monday, our daughter Annalena is celebrating her 25th birthday.
Wow. Grateful that on Monday, our daughter Hanalina, our older one, who is a teacher in our religious school here, is going to be celebrating her 25th birthday. And some of you remember her from when she was 3. 4. No, you are wrong. She was 4. Yes. Shoshi was not yet 2. Other people. Julia. Sha'a Tova! Julia Burke-Freitzis and her husband Marat found out in the fall that they are expecting a baby. And the baby's due in, did you say June? Early June. And today was the 20-week anatomy check, and everything looks great. And so we say, Sha'a Tova, in a good hour, everything should happen the way it's supposed to happen. Wonderful. There's all these congratulations in the text, so it's hard to find the gratitudes. Diane Keston is grateful that she was able to attend the Ladino celebration at the Jewish Heritage Society 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing. And that makes me want to remind you that we have a concert with Ladino music next weekend on Saturday as part of our Tu B'Shvat and Shabbat Shira celebration. Okay. Other people? Anybody else?
I could say something.
Okay.
Well, Aaron, my little baby, who's 34 now, he's took a job after he got out of Yale, and it wasn't really in forestry, but he took a job as an arborist, didn't like it, and now he just had 2 interviews, and he was accepted for both. One is to be, he's a forester, so one was to be a forester in the city parks in the Bronx, which is a pretty big position. But he's going to take, I think, the job of being a restoration ecologist in the parks in the city, which is a bigger position, and he's very excited about that. He starts on February 23rd.
Mazal Tov.
Yeah.
Modim anachnu lach for all of these things that we have to be grateful for. Page 177, I invite you to join me. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace is on page 178 in the blue bracketed numbers.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We have come now to our quiet prayer, which concludes the tefillah. There are words in the prayer book on pages 180 and 181. There are words on the screen, but of course we can always use the words in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
Iul leratson imre fi vehegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzori vegoali.
May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Taurus. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. In the prayer book, our Misha Barach is on page 371. If you are on Zoom, you are welcome to put names in the chat of anyone for whom you are praying for healing this evening, and also everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Susan Sisler, Barry Charles, Melissa Lumish, Jody Siegel-Stein, Fiola Murray, Debbie Rubowitz, Wendy Hershey, Gary Hershey, Isaac Hockman, Lennon Safe, Charles Slaybaugh, Joellen Fox, Valerie Pace, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Liza Nunes, Gina Marie Cortez, Janet Schlesinger, Katie Pandolfo, Amanda Alone, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightnaker, Nettie Trummer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Helene Smith, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Celia Karp, Aki Yasuda, Stephen Belay, Monica Bayer, Sarah West, Bobby Baumgarten, Deborah Belsky, Hazel Tishkoff, Griffin Rose, Paul Chappelle, Mario Testi, Felix Schwarzstein, Madeline Jonas, Dr. Franklin Jonas, Misha Fruman, David Gershon, Lana Epstein, Sherry Jacobs, Steve Doppelt, Linda Kushner, Patty Ann Cubero, Lou Katz, and Audrey Berlin. We include also Mike Erb, Nicole Hall, George Hall, John Holder, Della Holder, Vanessa Johnson, Juliet Dale, Maureen Dale, Adrian Walton, Yvonne Lewis, Ada Torres, Francis Torres, Anita Jones, Augustine Davis, Damian Colon, Jennifer Magoop, DeAndre Wynn, Brandon Lee, Andrew Brown, Phyllis Schweiger, Susan Bilecki, Al Rubowitz, Susan Draper, Lois Sparakis, Mark Scott, Kathy Garak, David Brunner, Efim Edelman, Ada Munoz, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paines, Amy Balin, Carol Rosen, Lily Collardo, Cynthia Kaplan, Steve and Susan Abramowitz, Joyce Aronson Giordano, Pat Flood, Patty Ann Cubero, Martini Narcisse, Dina Curet, Claude Smith, Batya Ungar, Leslie Sedlitz, Helen Samuels, Harriet Green, Nicholas Coors, Judith and Bob Coors, Eddie Levitt, Joanne Snyder, Roberta Finelli, Gina and Jacob Becker, Ara and Howard Poleski, Harry Munns, Jenny Grandos. Freema?
Debbie Belsky, Paula Smith, Diana Gonzalez, Richard Kurlander, David Goldberg, Kathy Brother Gabby, Martin Bennett, Alicia Surfy, Jeff Peltzer. Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom? Okay, if you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Ruth? We also include all of those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, those who have been harmed by ICE agents, those who have been hurt in recent natural disasters, including in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean, including those who have suffered flooding or fires or volcano. And we include those who have been harmed in war and conflict in the many places in the world. Robert, did you have?
Yeah, since I was in the emergency room, I'd like to mention the people who were there who were suffering much worse than I was.
Okay, Robert mentions those in the emergency room when he was there who were suffering worse than he was. Any other names? Okay. Page 371 in the middle of the page.
מי שברך אבותינו, מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. מי שברך אמותינו, מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. In this week's Torah portion, which is called Bo, the last 3 of the 10 plagues befall the Egyptians: locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. The penultimate plague, darkness, seems like that's less destructive than the other 2. After all, it gets dark every night, and in the wintertime like now, quite early, and we all pull through. But this isn't like that regular natural darkness. This was 3 solid days of a darkness that was described that it can be touched. A person could not see his brother or sister, which the Midrash explains means that a person could be in front of you and you could not see them at all, not even to tell that they were your brother or sister. For 3 days, a person could not rise from sitting. A person could not move about. Darkness, especially unexpected, unnatural darkness, unbroken by moon or stars, darkness with no certain end, can be paralyzing. It leaves us unable to see one another. It seems that what our Torah is describing in this plague is physical darkness. But when we speak of darkness, we don't always mean physical darkness. Darkness is also a powerful metaphor for us. We speak of dark times when we're in personal difficulty or feel concerned about a political situation, just to give a couple of examples. I want to take a moment and just say that we need to be careful using metaphors of darkness and lightness because they can bleed into the ways that we perceive other people based on what their skin looks like. And it has been shown, there's been research on this, that people with darker skin are more negatively related to when we're using these metaphors. And so we have to guard against that. At the same time, when carefully applied, it is an apt and helpful metaphor. Someone suffering from depression may feel themselves to be paralyzed, unable to act to help themselves, as if lost in pitch darkness. Psalm 23 speaks of being in the valley of the shadow of death. And perhaps some of you, like me, have experienced that verse as speaking to us when we've gone through a difficult loss. I and many others feel that as a nation, we are in a dark time right now. You may be seeing, as I am, news report after news report of abuses by ICE agents in our country. In Minneapolis, where yesterday and today clergy came from across the country to stand in solidarity with Minneapolitans. I decided that I was unable to join them because I needed to be here with you for Shabbat. So this afternoon, I went to a solidarity demonstration in Union Square, and I will tell you that it was packed. And of course, while not at the level that it is in Minneapolis, ICE is operating in our city as well, grabbing people off the street or from courthouses where they go for their mandatory immigration check-ins. These are immigrants who are following the rules. You may feel, as I often do, at a loss as to how we might make a difference. Yes, I went to a protest today, and I think it's important and necessary for us to make our objections known. But I don't know how much of a difference my presence there makes. It's pretty easy for me and maybe for you right now to ultimately feel stuck as in darkness, unable to see what the path forward needs to be. In Egypt, when the plague of darkness descends, there is no remedy for the Egyptians. They are at the mercy of God, and until the plague lifts, after 3 days, they can do nothing. So what about us? In the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, Isaiah speaks of people who seek God. They want to know God, and they want to feel near to God. They follow the rules of religion. They show up, they fast on fast days, but it doesn't work, and they don't know why. Isaiah tells them that it is because even as they follow the letter of the religious rules, they continue to be complicit in the oppression of other people. And this is why there was a protest in a church, I think also in Minneapolis. Isaiah says, on your fast day, you see to your business and oppress all your laborers. Because you fast in strife and contention, and you strike with a wicked fist, your fasting today is not such as to make your voice heard on high. No, this is the fast that I desire, to unlock fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. It is to share your bread with the hungry and to take the wretched poor into your home when you see the naked, to clothe him and not to ignore your own kin. Isaiah continues, then shall your light burst through like the dawn. Then shall your light shine in darkness, and your gloom shall be like noonday. By speaking of light coming as a result of standing up to end oppression and want, Isaiah tells us that before we do that, we are in darkness, and also that if we don't do it, we can't be close to God. As far as we can tell from the text, the Egyptians, stricken by the plague of darkness, hadn't paid much attention to the plight of the Israelites. Oppression can also bring a feeling of darkness. We read of the Israelites experiencing early in Moses' relationship with them, being unable to hear him because their spirits are crushed by cruel bondage. Now the Egyptians experience that darkness, in part because they are complicit in the oppression. There are studies that show that when we help others, we receive a positive psychological benefit. It lightens our darkness if we serve others and help to make their lives better. What are the things that we can do? Not everybody is able to protest, and I'll tell you what, standing in Union Square for an hour and a half today in this cold weather was not that much fun for me. Not that any of this is fun, or that it's supposed to be fun. But if you have a little bit of discretionary income, there are lots of places that will take donations to help. If you call your congresspeople, it might or might not make a difference, but it will be one more tick in the column of do something. There are things that we can do. How much of a difference it will make, I don't know. But if we all do something, it will take us somewhere. And there are a lot of people who are doing something, and it is making a difference. So it's a long haul, and it can feel like a dark time. And when we experience the darkness of despair or confusion, let us try not to let the darkness make it so that we stop looking and we cannot see the suffering of our brothers and sisters. And let us gather our energy to break out of our paralysis to do anything we can to help to alleviate even just a little bit of that suffering. Let us reach out through the darkness to find the hands of others and hold them as we grope together toward the light. May God help us to find the strength to face our fear of the darkness and to bring light to the world, thus helping to fulfill our Jewish calling to be a light unto the nations. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. Sure. So our anthem for this evening is the Journey Song by Debbie Friedman. This is a much more cheerful song than what I was just talking about. And actually there is joy to be had, because in our Torah portion we get to the end of the 10 plagues and the Israelites are getting ready to depart. And God tells them, when you get to where you're going, you will celebrate this day. You will celebrate this time. And the paragraph that I wrote to you in the What's Happening This Week said, part of the reason for saying you will celebrate this day is a message that there will come a time when these hard times are past and you can celebrate the end of them. And the Journey Song is about setting out on that journey from oppression to freedom.
Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Hours pass, the answer might change as we keep moving along. Stand at the shores of the sea, fearful we want to turn back. The sea parts, our eyes fill with wonder as we go along on our journey. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Days pass, the answers can change as we keep moving along. Stepping into the unknown to hear the echoes of Miriam's song, we awaken, retelling our stories as we go along on our journey. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Years pass, the answers have changed as we keep moving along. Cross the sea, it's the time to sing a song. We are free. Dance with your timbrels in hand. There's no turning back from this journey. Where does the journey begin? Where will we go? Hours pass, the answers might change as we keep moving along. Days pass, the answers can change as we keep moving along. Years pass, the answers have changed as we keep moving along.
We turn now to the Aleinu. It begins on page 586, at the top of the page. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולו ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. Those of you who are here in person have our yahrzeit list in your bulletin. I am getting our yahrzeit list to display on the screen. Our yahrzeit list for the coming week is displayed on the screen, and it's also in the pink bulletin if you're here in person. If you are on Zoom, you are welcome to put names in the chat of anyone for whom you are saying the Mourner's Kaddish this evening. Also, everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Brian Wilco. Karen is continuing to sit Shiva. For him, you can check your email for the schedule. Bonnie Hubner, Celeste Cooperman, Robert Brown, Selma Chain, Douglas Wilson, Mary Katz, Ken Berkowitz, Joseph Donato, Rochelle Spitzer, Jennifer Blitzer, Terry Newman, Emil Maharis, Kevin Korstange, Wayne Perillo, Frank Spitznagel, Shelley Malbranch, Milton Platt, Ellie Greenberg, George Adam, Jack Ignanensky, Alvin Burke, Rose Curas. Included on our yahrzeit list for the coming week are Harry Berkowitz, Beverly Berkowitz's father, Anna First, Shirley First's mother, Joseph Hockey, Joan Hockey's father, Morris Kreitman, Faye Levine Guskin's uncle, Hannah Jessie Mann, Marcia Kaplan Mann's mother-in-law, Ann Nass, Sam Silverman's cousin, Dorothy Tibickman, Mona Goldberg's sister, and Frida Zausner, Linda Feller's mother. Freema?
Sorry. Okay. Lois Green, Addie Welch, Debbie Kelly, Barbara Waldman, and Richard Gordon. And I remember Daddy. She was really very good lady. Thank you.
Angela Napoli, Renee Good, Daniel Adam Kaplan, Rita Landberg's cousin, Norman Bard, who is 99 this week, Dr. Joseph Unger, and Martin Sklar. Anyone else on Zoom? Yes, Lori Pandolfo is calling our attention to Rabbi Samuel D. Soskin, who is on our yahrzeit list. He was a previous rabbi of Temple Beth Emeth. All right. Anyone in the room have names to add? Okay. We include also all of those who have been killed by ICE agents. We include those who have died in war and conflict around the world, as well as those who have died in other ways, whether in famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. I invite you, if you're able, to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei tekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran ba'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated.
Shalom, b'mromav, Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru
Some announcements before we conclude. Tomorrow morning, religious school will be at 9:45 a.m. At 10 a.m., we will study this week's Torah portion, Bo. And also at 10 a.m., our song leader, Daniel Keitel, will lead Tot Shabbat. At 11 a.m., Daniel and I will lead Shabbat services together in person and on Zoom. And at 4 p.m., congregant Rafael Gonzalez will lead a musical Havdalah. You were supposed to call and say if you were coming, but you know what? If you didn't and you want to come, you can come. Also, it will be on Zoom, which will not be as good an experience as being here in person, but you'll be able to get a taste of it. Thursday at noon is Torah study with me on Zoom. Tot Shabbat is ending on Friday. It's not going to be on Fridays anymore. Nobody has shown up on Friday morning in a long time. But Tot Shabbat is on Saturdays at 10 a.m. with Daniel. Our Tu B'Shvat Seder celebration will be next Saturday, January 31st. Services will be at 10 a.m. It will be a brief service without a Torah service. And then at 11 a.m. will be our Tu B'Shvat Seder for everyone. It will be in the banquet room. Again, we will also stream it on Zoom. And we'll put it on in the community room upstairs for anyone who can't come downstairs. Again, that's not a great experience, but we do our best with it. And then after the Tu B'Shvat Seder at noon to 1 p.m. will be a concert with Ira Klein, who is one of our religious school teachers and a musician, and Maya Shaw, and that will be a celebration of Sephardic music. There's a suggested donation of $18, but it's suggested. The Brotherhood is having a meeting at 9:15 a.m. sometime. There is no date. Is that next Sunday? It's a week from this Sunday. So all of the snow will have been shoveled. And so so that would be February 1st. February 1st, 9:15 a.m. is the Brotherhood meeting and bagel breakfast if you are a member of Brotherhood. But at 10:30 a.m., everyone is invited to join our very own Michael Rose, my very own Michael Rose, for an important presentation on internet security, the scams to look out for, and how AI has given scammers even more ways to go after your money and vital information. It's going to be very cheerful. I mean, Mike's a funny guy, so it'll probably be pretty cheerful. And that will be in person in our community room, and of course, also on Zoom, because Mike is just savvy that way. The women of Beshert on Monday, February 2nd, are having our very own Alan Zarrow, who will be lecturing on She Possibly Was the First Woman President, the saga of Edith Wilson. That will be only on Zoom. Looking ahead to March 23rd, which is even long after Purim, so watch your email for the schedule of Purim Spiel rehearsals, which are going to be starting on February 1st is going to be the first Purim Spiel rehearsal, but it will not conflict with the Brotherhood. It'll be in the evening. Just show up if you want to be in the Purim Spiel. It's always a lot of fun. You don't have to be talented. You just have to be enthusiastic. So come for that. It'll be fun. Anyway, back to IHOP fundraiser, March 23rd. If you go to IHOP and you take the digital flyer, which if it hasn't been emailed to you, it will be, take it with you, show it to them, and 20% of what you pay for your meal will go to Beshert, which is that's a pretty solid percentage right there. And the gala annual luncheon, save the date, is June 7th at Gargiulo's. And this year we'll be honoring our co-chairs of the membership committee, Ellen Rothstein and Emily Whitehead, who richly deserve it. Any other announcements? I feel that is quite enough.
You know, next week is a Shabbat of song, Shabbat Shira.
Yes, next week is Shabbat Shira.
I'm going to do a lot of some nice settings and extra music.
There's going to be music for Shabbat Shira, so that'll be Friday night. And then we'll have our Tu B'Shvat celebration on Saturday. So it'll be lovely, so everyone should come. And, you know, music better in person than on Zoom.
That's right.
if you can manage it. Yes, Janice, unmute yourself.
Shabbat Across America? When is that?
That is March 13th and 14th. Information will be forthcoming. I
And-
know
and-
we're thrown off that we're already hearing about the IHOP fundraiser on March 23rd.
And we're gonna, I'm waiting to hear about if the choir is singing for that Shabbat Across America, and as soon as I get a definite answer, I was waiting to hear from the presidents that
I thought it was settled.
nobody contacted me. So we're gonna send out the schedule of February 12th will be our first rehearsal.
It seems likely that the choir will sing for Shabbat Across America.
Okay, we'll get that out
Yeah.
this week.
Any other announcements? Okay. We are going to conclude with Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, and I'll invite you if you're able to rise. This is in the prayer book, but I forget what page. It's also on the screen. I think it's in the prayer book.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face toward you and give you peace. Amen. And before we go across to the Oneg, there's a tzedakah box on your way out of the sanctuary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Stay as warm as you can this weekend.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
I
Shabbat
hope you have plenty
shalom.
of milk.
Why
And
milk?